First tonight on our news weekend, an early morning discovery. This is police found an adult male lifeless at an unfinished structure here in the capital. We have the latest. But first, the Ministry of Education's Pools and Schools initiative moving full steam ahead. Hear why the Education Minister says no longer will swimming be just a private school sport. And later, are tourism numbers slowing down after a record-breaking year in 2023? An RM Bank and Trust executive explains. Our News Weekend starts now. This is our News Weekend. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Natalia Hall. Well, some shocking news tonight as an adult male was found lifeless with a gunshot injury and in an unfinished structure in the Kennedy subdivision by police this morning. Our Delvardo Emmanuel was on the scene as authorities conducted their initial investigations. We'll get to that story in a moment, but first, the government's Pools and Schools initiative making significant strides with 4 new swimming pools under construction for public schools. Our Delvardo Emmanuel spoke with the Education Minister and has the details.
We currently have, or in the process of having, 4 pools under construction. C.H. Reeves is nearing completion. Government High, they're beginning works there. T.G. Glover is underway, and they're getting the plans now for Sadie Curtis.
That's Education Minister Glenys Hanna-Martin giving an update on the Pools in Schools initiative. Shovels first went in the ground for the pilot program in June of this year, with Government High School being the first school to benefit. According to the Education Minister, the goal is for every child to learn how to swim. She says no longer will swimming be just a private school sport.
Based on what we've seen in Carifta and elsewhere, that we have some incredible budding athletes, and this traditionally access is in private schools only. So to create access now, or to equalize the access in public schools, I think it's going to be mind-boggling what we're going to see coming out of this initiative. And plus it will have a survival skill.
And just how will this become a reality?
We've already redesigned the curriculum to integrate swimming into the physical education curriculum. So all of those things are lined up. The curriculum, the trained instructors, the issues of safety. And so we're very excited about this. Private schools do it all the time. And so we have ensured that we're able to move very adeptly in integrating swimming into the curriculum.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Delvardo Emmanuel.
Well, it's been nearly 1 month since the start of the 2024-2025 academic year. And over in Grand Bahama, the public education system appears to be thriving. At the Sir Jack Haywood Junior High School on Cathedral Boulevard, Principal Janice Pinder proudly highlights the school's recent national examination results, placing them at the top of the list. She's also emphasizing the factors that contributed to this success.
The dedication and the commitment of our teachers, our superstar teachers at Jack Haywood Junior High School. You know, they continue to push the students to excel. We've won Junkanoo, we won sports, we had a number of things. We top science fair.
As for plans for the new academic year?
Last year we had about 37 students who left grade 9 going to the high school with BJC, 4 BJCs. This year we had double that amount, and so we want to triple that amount this year. so we're on the move.
Police launching an investigation into the nation's latest homicide after the lifeless body of a man riddled with gunshot wounds was discovered in an unfinished building early this morning. Chief Superintendent Christopher Minus, officer in charge of the East Street South Police Station, revealed officers responded to reports of gunshots around 7 a.m., leading to the grim discovery in the Kennedy subdivision.
The police control room received reports of gunshots of a male being shot at this location. The police arrived on the scene and discovered a male at the rooftop of this residence. Checks were made by EMS and the body was discovered with no signs of life. The male at the scene, his age ranges between 40 and 45 years of age.
According to police, the victim was known to authorities. As investigations are still in the preliminary stage, police have not yet identified a lead or motive, and they're making this appeal to the public.
If they have any information that relates to this matter, to please contact the Police Control Room at 919, CID at 502-9991, or crimes to tipsters at 328-TIPS.
Well, a man accused of 3 murders will remain behind bars after a judge denied him bail. Justice Neil Brathwaite refused to bail to Micah Johnson on the grounds that he was a flight risk and a threat to public order. Johnson is accused of the July 2023 murders of Richard Brown and Adrian Brown and the May 2023 murder of Theo Williams. The Browns were fatally shot at Spence Street after 2 gunmen emerged from a track road. Johnson is also accused of shooting Theo Williams outside a bar on Hospital Lane on March 24, 2023. Williams died in hospital as a result of the shooting on May 10, 2023. Justice Brathwaite noted that the Johnsons failed to attend court for a gun trial in the magistrate court and was arrested in Bimini, an island with easy access to the shores of Florida. Well, the process of lawmaking is something many civilians often feel frustrated and far removed from, sometimes left frustrated by new legislation after it's already been passed, but it doesn't have to be that way. It's something the Organization for Responsible Governance is working to make more inclusive and increase public participation. Their solution, something they call the Policy Review Center, where members of the public can read current bills and other decisions being debated and even offer feedback.
As a mechanism of engaging citizens, keeping them more aware of what's being developed in policy and giving them a role, we've shaped something called the Policy Review Center on our website. And it's a free, accessible site. And when we get legislation from government as it's in process, we put it up on that site. And so that way citizens can understand it, read it for themselves. Where we're able to, we try and break down bills a little bit to be able to provide some guidance so that folks will be able to get through the legalese that sometimes is challenging.
And it doesn't stop with access to reading issues up for debate. They also provide the option for you to make suggestions and offer feedback to government.
It offers them an opportunity to put their ideas and their thoughts forward. So you could say, you like this bill, you have issues with this bill, here's a suggestion for improvement, this is the best thing you've ever seen, and we will share that with government, the opposition, and public. So that helps, again, to facilitate this two-way dialogue that is crucial for representative democracy. We want to encourage folks to go to our website, orgbahamas.com, check out the free resources that we have, and really what we say is get informed and then get involved.
All right, very informative. Well, experts in the financial sector gathered at the British Colonial Hotel for a live digital tech and innovation expo Thursday night. The event was spearheaded by the Central Bank of the Bahamas and the Clearing Banks Association. The objective to promote and highlight the benefits of digital payments in the Bahamas. Central Bank's Governor Joan Rolls spoke to the importance of the event.
In 2021, the Central Bank announced that it was working with the commercial banks to discontinue the use of checks on a timeline that would have taken us through the end of 2024. Now, while this effort was suspended, the broader initiatives which we highlighted at that time, even for payment system modernization and financial inclusion, are still relevant and reflected in the work that we're doing. So coming out of the very public focus on checks, the Central Bank established a steering committee to assemble broad input from the public on the concerns about payments and the ease of banking, and to focus on crafting substantive responses to such concerns.
All right, when Our News Weekend comes back from the break, our tourism numbers slowing down after a record-breaking year in 2023. And our Bank and Trust executive shares his view during our monthly sit-down. Plus, this week, many across the globe celebrated World Tourism Day as officials honors its significance and economic effects. The tourism minister speaks, and later, AML Foods Limited will soon be expanding to the island of Eleuthera. This as the company has entered into an agreement to purchase the existing Burroughs one-stop grocery store in Governor's Harbor. We'll tell you all about it when Our News Weekend returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
As we approach the end of 2024, the Bahamas may be seeing signs of a slowdown in the tourism sector, a major change from 2023 as the tourism industry experienced a remarkable boost with over 9 million visitors recorded. Experts attribute the surge to revenge travel, a travel demand following the COVID-19 pandemic. While in our monthly interview with David Slatter, Group Head of Investment at RF Bank and Trust, he pointed out that while tourism may be experiencing a slowdown, it's important to note that this doesn't mean a complete decline. Rather, it reflects a drop from exceptionally high numbers.
Slowing economic growth, we need to be cognizant of that when it comes to our day-to-day financial planning, when it comes to investment decisions. If you're a company, when it comes to capital expenditure, right, what you're going to spend your capital on. So it just means to be a little more frugal, a little more cognizant of the fact that the economy is slowing. Expectations are, somewhere between 1% and 2% per annum into the foreseeable future, actually, and that's consistent with what's expected for the U.S. We'll see. Sometimes we get surprises on the upside, surprises on the downside. So this is just my best estimate of what I think is going to happen. As you mentioned, this is almost the end of September, so we're from a probability standpoint, we've gotten past the worst part of the hurricane season. But as we know, we have to remain vigilant. The last 2 months can always produce storms that can be impactful. So whether that's Hurricane Matthew, Hurricane Michelle, you can think of hurricanes in the past that have hit us in October and November. So fingers crossed, we've been lucky so far. Hopefully the balance of the year is the same. We don't want any of these nasty surprises.
Well, Friday was World Tourism Day, and it's celebrated by the United Nations World Tourism Organization for the past 44 years. A major push for our Ministry of Tourism this week has been putting the focus on encouraging Bahamian youth to join the country's largest sector. Well, Deputy Prime Minister and Tourism Minister Chester Cooper had this message for students of the nation.
Happy World Tourism Day to all of you, our current and future tourism leaders across the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. On this special day, we pause to give thanks and celebrate our nation's recent accomplishments in tourism. In a few short years, we've increased our visitor arrivals from 7 million in 2019 to nearly 10 million in 2023, a healthy increase of more than 30%. Thanks to our aggressive marketing efforts, the Bahamas brand is enjoying high visibility in our major markets, and we're exploring new markets too.
The tourism minister also shining a spotlight on the importance of preserving and highlighting the country's natural beauty, saying there must be a focus on what makes us unique.
We must continue to explore sustainable ecotourism as well and encourage investment in green energy. The growth of our tourism sector requires more things to do, more tours and excursions, touristic attractions, experiences that immerse our visitors in the rich vitality of Bahamian heritage and culture and business. I therefore look forward to seeing many of you become tourism business owners in the near future. We have put in place many programs and resources to assist you in accomplishing this goal.
AML Foods Limited will soon be expanding to Eleuthera. The company has entered into an agreement to purchase the existing Barrows one-stop grocery store in Governor's Harbor, which will undergo a complete renovation before reopening under the name Eleuthera Markets in March of next year. AML's president and CEO Gavin Borchorn says the new store will follow a Solomon's neighborhood concept with access to the My Solomon Smart Rewards loyalty program, and will have expanded grocery, chill, frozen meat, and fresh produce that will arrive on the island twice per week.
The Bankers play some softball next weekend, and Jazz and the Yankees took a loss last night. We're going to talk about it next on our Sports Weekend.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Good evening, I'm Tage Adderley, and we are back with our sports weekend. Bankers are known for sitting at their desk, crunching numbers from 9 to 5, but next week, they'll get after it on the diamond. The Samuel P. Haven softball tournament is scheduled to begin next Saturday, October 5th at the Belu Hills Complex in New Providence. Teams from the top institutions on the island will compete for a cash prize and, more importantly, bragging rights. The tournament was named in honor of Haven, a standout banking professional and athlete, and it was started to foster camaraderie through competition. Registration is still open to any team from the financial or insurance industry, and the fee is $300. Now, if you got a team and you're interested in competing, send an email over to bankersathleticiassociation@gmail.com. We're going to stick to the diamond. Jazz and his New York Yankees have already clinched the American League Eastern Division. They begin the final series of their regular season last night. Jazz got a couple of hits and a couple of RBI as the Bombers lost to the Pittsburgh Pirates 4-2. He would drive in his team's only runs, hitting a bases-loaded single in the bottom of the 5th inning, breaking the 0-0 stalemate. The lead would quickly evaporate in the very next frame when Yankees pitcher Carlos Rodon surrendered back-to-back home runs from Nick Gonzalez and Brian Reynolds to end his night. Reynolds mashed another homer in the 8th, a 2-run shot to give the game its final score. Jazz went 2 for 4 with the aforementioned single and a double, and he also stole his 40th base of the season, adding to his season high. They already played the second game of their 3-game set earlier today. We'll have more on that tomorrow. Before we go, Jonquel Jones and the Liberty start their semifinal series tomorrow against a team that she lost to in the finals 2 years in a row, the Las Vegas Aces. That game is at 3 p.m. For Our News Weekend, I'm Tage Adderley.
All right, thanks so much, Tage. Well, warm weather and sunny skies, the perfect type of weather for the weekend. Meteorologist Ian McKenzie's in the Weather Center straight ahead, plus Coastal Cleanup Day. Hear all about the efforts by several Grand Bahamian organizations to clean up local beaches on that northern island when Our News Weekend returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Welcome back to Our News. Well, warm temperatures on this Saturday. Perfect weather for a beach day with your family. Meteorologist Ian McKenzie is in the Weather Center with more on what you can expect for the rest of the weekend. Ian.
Thanks, Natalia, and good evening, Bahamas. Welcome to your Saturday evening forecast. Currently outside our studios, we're under partly cloudy skies with a temperature of 87. Winds are from the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. Feels like temperature at 96. Temperatures across the country in our nation's second city, Freeport, we have 85. Also in Marsh Harbor, 86 in Allenstown, Great Harbor Key, and in Nicholstown. A pair of 87s in Governor's Harbor and in the capital. In the Central Bahamas, 87s continuing in Camps Bay, 86s in Arthurstown, Georgetown, and in Deadman's Key, Long Island, 85 in Coburn Town, San Salvador. Southeast Bahamas, 86 in Duncantown, Delectable Bay, Colonel Hill, and in Providenciales, Turks and Caicos, 84 in Abrahams Bay, Maguana, and 85 in Matthewtown, Inagua. First look now at our satellite imagery where we have pretty much no clouds across the Bahamas, and that is all courtesy of that building high pressure system. But now we're going to get into the tropics where we have several areas that are being monitored at this time. One just several hundred miles to the east of the Cabo Verde Islands. This system has about a 70% chance for formation through 7 days. So we're looking at possible Kirk to form. Now we all know Helene is still out there, extratropical, dumped a lot of rainfall across the southeast US, had about 50 deaths, near 50 deaths recorded so far. We also have Isaac out there, and also Joyce, which is a tropical storm, Isaac, a hurricane, no threat to land, but this area will be the area of concern come about midweek when we do expect possible tropical storm development, and this system is expected to impact, unfortunately, the Gulf states again by about mid to the end of next week. Here we can see high potential from the end of September into October 3rd, and again October 2nd through the 5th, where we expect another round of activity where the system is expected to shoot the gap between Yucatan and the western portion of Cuba, enter the Gulf of Mexico, where it should be regenerized by those abnormally warm sea surface temperatures, and then shoot again into the Gulf states, possibly around the Louisiana, Florida Panhandle, hopefully not again, but those folks, keep them in your prayers. Boating forecasts across the northwest Bahamas for tonight. Winds east to southeast 10 to 15, north seas 2 to 4 feet. Low tide at 12:24 a.m. tomorrow morning. High tide at 6:22 a.m. tomorrow morning. Central and southeast Bahamas, winds easterly 15, north seas 3 to 5 feet over the ocean. And in your extended forecast, there is a chance of some slight showers tomorrow, but for most of the week, high pressure dominating conditions. We're getting up into those low 90s. Drinks lots of water. Heat advisory will be in effect, with the lows only getting up into the upper 70s. That's a wrap in the evening forecast. Make it a great, safe one night, everyone.
All right, thanks so much, Ian. Well, the third Saturday of September is International Coastal Cleanup Day, a day when coastal communities around the world get together to clean their local beaches. It's something Grand Bahamian groups have been participating in for decades, sourcing volunteers to clean beaches across the length of the island. This year, Jermaine Johnson, who manages the Sustainable Investment Department, says he was blown away by the turnout and level of support.
The support we got was incredible, far beyond what I had imagined. One particular beach, GGYA, I have to give a shout out to them in particular because they had over 170 persons on their beach, showing awesome and amazing support. There's so many of them, that have assisted me. This was definitely a teamwork. I'm happy and proud of the children. Every school participated on the island from, we had West End Primary and Holmes Rock Primary in the west, all the way to Lucine International School in the east.
And it's more than just a cleanup. The findings become vital data for a global report, an effort Grand Bahama has been contributing to since 1988. Students and other volunteers had to be up bright and early to participate, with the cleanup running from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. But they all say it was worth it.
Well, I've always been somebody who cared about my country and the environment especially. So when I heard about this opportunity, I was one of the first people to sign up to do it.
Well, considering it was early in the morning, they had to get awake and excited once they were here. They were excited and happy to be out. We actually collected 77 pounds of garbage from Freeport Primary alone.
Wow, such a great effort. Of course, to see that story again is available now at ournews.bs. And with that, we thank you for joining us for Our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. Enjoy the rest of your evening.